Welcome back to the 13th Destiny podcast with Magnum. I'm your host, James Magnum Cook, and I am still in Decatur, Texas, Bridgeport area, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As a matter of fact, I've been in all those areas today, but I'm still staying at the hotel here in Decatur. And I want to give a shout out to one of my new listeners and someone who has just recently met me. And I can tell you, in the photograph with me and her, she was very happy to meet me, and I was very happy to meet her. And her name is Elizabeth Wright, and she's a desk clerk here at the Holiday Inn in Decatur, Texas. And she is a very nice, very sweet young lady, and I enjoyed meeting her, and I know she enjoyed meeting me, and it was a good thing. And she did start listening to the podcast as well last night, so thought I would give her a little shout out tonight. And I had a pretty awesome day today. I managed finally on this day of the trip to California to actually get multiple things in, and also go out with my friends tonight, with Jeremey Harp and Bug and her kids, and we had a really, really good time. So it was a great end to the evening and an entire day of adventure. So let me tell you about today. Today I actually got some things in. I want to tell you about the Frontiers of Flight Museum in Dallas. Ironically, I was trying to go to another one, and for some strange reason, my GPS kicked in and took me to this one, which I was trying to avoid the Dallas area. Not because I don't like Dallas, it's just the traffic, and the people that live in Dallas are well aware of this. Traffic can be a little crazy at times. I like Dallas, don't get me wrong. Again, well, it's just, I try to avoid the traffic there, or at least certain times of the day. Not something like early in the morning I really want to deal with. But it wasn't, I guess it wasn't as bad as I've known it to be. So, I've come through a few times in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where it was really, really bad. So overall, it wasn't too bad today. So anyway, I ended up at the Frontiers of Flight Museum in Dallas, and it's right next to the airport there, so you can see the planes coming in and landing as well. And there's an observation area in the museum if you're ever interested in visiting this museum. If you follow me or know anything about me, you know that I do some flying with other pilots through the adventure experience stuff I do. And of course, I visit museums, and I've visited the one in Arizona, Kentucky. I'm trying to think. I've visited so many, it's hard to keep up with them without making a list. But today's visit, like I say, was at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. Spent a little time there. Some things overlap, but the exhibits that they have there are pretty cool. And I did post them on my personal Facebook. So they have a pretty decent collection there of planes. And some space-related stuff, which also is part of aviation. It was pretty. I didn't take everything, but there's some mock-ups there of some, commercial airlines you can go into. Although they do clean them on a regular basis, and I will say that they are still following the mask protocols. So you will have to wear a mask currently. If you go there. Most of the places I went today I didn't in Texas, but this was one of the few places that still was requiring it. So I was kind of surprised about that, but just thought I'd make mention of that's currently still going on at that location. But it was a very, very good place to visit. And I noticed after I posted on my Facebook, looks like about 10 of my friends have been there before, so that's good. There's a really cool Huey helicopter out front, up in the air on a display, so that's pretty cool. So if you have any thing and you enjoy aviation like I do, that's a good place to go. So check that out. That's one of the places I went today. And then after that, let's see, I believe I went on, I tried to visit this other place, and it was the Hangar 10 Museum. It's just like at a hangar at the Denton Enterprise Airport, which was a very strange situation. I never found anyone there. There was a vehicle you want to talk about adventure. So I couldn't find the place at first because it was indicating that I was at one hangar, and there were some flight students there, and I asked them about that. And by the way, this was after something else had happened. I'm not going to mention too much about it because I'm still trying to make a decision about that. But it is interesting. I will say that it was an interesting day. That part of my day is not going to be broadcast on the podcast because it's still up in the air. All I will say, it is involving an employment situation, and it's up to me. And I'm going to have to think about that for a bit, because I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I really enjoy having this freedom. But I gotta think a lot about it, and I'm gonna ask some questions of a few people, one of which I've already asked that lives in this area. So and that's it turned out to be one of my cons, but we won't go into too much of that. But I had an adventure with going to this Hangar 10 Museum. So this is on a list of stuff that I had picked out on a website that has like local museums and things for this area. So I go to this place, and this is most people would have freaked out, right? So what I'm about to tell you, but being the former loss prevention investigator, the former private investigator, the security consultant, the security specialist, not gonna freak out. So kind of goes back to my ghost story. Well, this is not a ghost story, but it goes back to that whole thing of like, this is not going to be a freak out. So I go up to the door, and there's a vehicle there, so I'm assuming that this is the person that runs the place, right? I mean, obviously there's a vehicle parked here, and you wouldn't leave a door unlocked unless you're around or you're somewhere around. But I open the door, and this is where it gets creepy. I open the door, and I look, and I go, okay, well, there is stuff in here that would indicate this is kind of like a museum, but it's all dark except for the light coming through a couple of windows from like an office here. So, but I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe the guy or whoever's in here somewhere. And it was so funny. So I said, is anyone here? Anyone here? Anyone here? And I do this, and I'm just standing in the door, and I like, anyone here? And I thought I heard, anyone here? And the door slams behind me because the wind in Texas today was so horrible. And it's like completely dark inside of here except for some light coming from the end. And of course, I have to turn on my cell phone flashlight, and I'm going, I get myself in this situation, right? So I'm thinking, here's my thought. I'm thinking, okay, please tell me this door did not lock behind me, because that's the first thought I had. So I'm going to be locked in this hangar. That's supposed to be museum, which it does. It says Hangar 10 Museum. And I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh no. So I turn around, and I'm like, okay, I've got the flash. Door opens back up. I was like, oh, that's good. So I go back outside, and I thought, well, maybe this is not there's the other door. So I checked the other door, and there's a maintenance building next to it where they're doing aviation maintenance. And I thought about asking them, but at some point, with the way the wind was blowing and everything, I thought, well, can't get no one on the phone, can't get any information. I'm just gonna like drive out of here. And I'm thinking to myself, as the security person, I'm going, wait a minute. I just like literally went in this place, went back out. No, and even the people next door that saw me going in and out, I'm like, they didn't pay any attention to what I was doing, and I'm thinking, this is an airport. Shouldn't you be paying attention to what I'm doing? I mean, I guess I just kind of laughed it off in a way. I do have the experimental aircraft association stuff on my vehicle, but I'm just like, still, wouldn't you normally ask this question of what this guy's doing over here? And there's nobody over here but this other truck. So anyway, so that's kind of the adventure there today. It was interesting. I would have loved to have stuck around and figured out if somebody was there, but I was like, well, I'm going to let this one go for now, and maybe on another time when I'm through, maybe I can figure something out. Then I tried to go to this. So this is the adventure of the day, how the day went. So I tried to go to this other museum that I couldn't get any information online other than their address. And it was over in Springtown. And they're doing all this construction on the road, apparently, in Springtown, Texas. And I had to go around a different way. And I couldn't get anybody on the phone on that one either. Got all the way around all this construction, only to find out that museum was closed. It was only open on the weekends. And I'm just shaking my head going, well, here we go again. Okay. Now, most people would have ended their day like this, but no, not me. I keep looking for other stuff, so I keep driving along. I was like, oh, look, there's the fort. And so I had to drive miles back, and I ended up back in Wise County, which is part of the area that Bridgeport and all that is in. So it wasn't too bad because I was back in the same county at this point. Once I got drove in a circle, basically is what I did today. So that's what happened. So I went to the Fort Richardson State Historical Park, and oh my goodness, the wind in this area of Texas today. And I had a little talk with the park ranger there, and we both were talking. I said, I have been to Texas before, and I've been in certain parts, like the Panhandle is really bad with wind. Known that since back in, I want to say it was 85. Yeah, 85, when I was in the Boy Scouts, and we went to the Cimarron, New Mexico area for going to the Philmont Scout Ranch, and literally the wind, we could not hold our bowls and stuff on the table and eat breakfast one morning in the Panhandle because the wind was so bad. And I'm telling you, the wind was so bad here today in the Decatur Bridgeport area and the surrounding area here that, yeah, when I went to the fort and I was talking to him before I went out and explored the historical buildings, and there's some really nice historical buildings there. And if you get there before 2 o'clock, apparently they have some guided tours, but you can also take walking tours, which on your own, which I did. Hiked around, took some pictures, posted. I try to only take certain things, but not too much, but enough to give you a taste of most of the time. Try to remember not to go overboard with that, but just enough to whet the appetite of the information of that place. And there's a whole lot of stuff related to the soldiers and Native Americans, and so there's a lot of really good information there. And if you have any interest in historical stuff, that is a very good place to go. And it was only, I believe, $10. Was it $10? Was it fine? I can't. I'd have to go back and look. See, I don't even pay. So I know the Frontier Museum was $10. This might have only been $5 for an all-day pass. I think it might have been $5 for an all-day pass, which I didn't get there until after 2. But and I spent some time there. And walked around, and it's really nice. It's pretty much, for the most part, mostly flat, so that's not too bad. I mean, there's some areas where they camp and other places that dips down, but that's only if you have, there is a flood gauge thing, however, on the creek area. I guess that's like the creek or something area. I guess it's maybe prone to heavy rains or something and flash flooding, so that was my assumption with the way that was gauged. So I did that. That was a pretty cool place. There's a lot of cactus. The smaller cactus on here in Texas. Took some pictures of that too. So we did that. And then, and there was this like little herd of deer that come across the road. And for those who know me well know that there was a time that I hit way too many deer. I literally let this whole herd of deer go across to me in front of me, and I didn't hit them, and that's all that really matters, right? Because don't want to kill the deer, and especially with a car, it's just really not a good day. Trust me on that one. Been there, done that one too many times. Partially because of where I live at in Kentucky, and partially because we all talked about that earlier in my life. There's sometimes that, you have to be honest, I was just going a little too fast, and that's not a good combination. So we did that, and so we got that out of the way. That was, like I said, that was a pretty cool place if you're interested in historical stuff. I'm interested in all kinds of stuff. Probably that Gemini in me, I like to joke about that, that I can change on a whim on my personality. But certain things I've liked for a long time. Everything involving aviation, historical, paranormal, investigations, etc. Those things are kind of on my top of my list. And then I just like to have fun stuff. So I went out with Jeremey and Bug and her family, as I said. Had a really good time. Kind of went to the arcade, did that stuff, and just let them really. Well, it was kind of just them having a good time, especially the kids. And I like to see other people have a good time as much as I have a good time. We did kind of the gravity indoor. It's kind of like the indoor zip line thing across the arcade, which was kind of cool. Me and Jeremey did that together, and that was pretty cool. I have really come to really like Jeremey a lot. I mean, Bug could not ask. She asked me tonight, and it was so funny. She asked me, I said, "Are you kidding me? I really like Jeremey, and I wouldn't be coming back down here as much if I didn't." So it was kind of funny. And we're gonna make some plans to do some more hanging out together, maybe on a weekend, coming back through. I just don't have to do anything except what I want to do now, and that's one of the debates about this whole thing that happened today. And I really wish I could go into details. The only thing that bugs me about that whole thing that I don't want to talk about too much on the podcast is that I kind of learned that. I guess, I don't know how I even put it, that maybe you were lied to in ways that you didn't expect. And it's sad. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not happy. I'm extremely happy. Doesn't matter about that. So I have been happy, like I said, I have been happier than I've ever been in my life. And it really is messing with my head what I need to think about and do right now. But I need to clear my head and make that decision. And I will. But I'm not going to make it hastily. And I'm not going to make it, on a need. I'm not going to do what they did. Let's put it that way. I'm going to do anything that's going to be just, let's do this because we're done. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ever act the same way that I was treated at the end. And that's not how I act. It's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to be calm about this. I'm going to think this through. And then I'll make a decision. Because right now, my life was made better than it's ever been in my life. And I've never had this kind of freedom. I have never had the ability to go. No one's, let's put it this way. No one was twisting my arm and keeping me from doing things except for the fact that I was responsible and I did do what I was supposed to do. Now I don't have to do that. Let's put it this way. I have some obligations that I do have to take care of. And I will take care of those. But I will not do it in a manner that I will be stressed again. And that's something I have to think about. And I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. And I think that's what I've got to think about. Will I be happy? I'm not sure. The destiny has went a certain way for a reason. And that's why I have to think about this. And those who know me know that that are hearing this for the first time and hearing how I'm talking, know that when I'm slowing it down to this level, that I am putting a lot of thought into what I want to do and how I want to do it and how I want to proceed. Because I don't want to make a mistake that's going to cause me to be in a situation that I don't want to be in again. So I'm going to take some time as I head on to California. I'm going to think about what happened today. And like I said, it was